Hello, ladies and gents. Happy Wednesday. Today, you and I are going to do some review so you are ready to take our test tomorrow for topic 7. And then guess what? On Friday, we are actually going to be starting our topic about money and time. So be looking forward to that. But let's grab our workbooks and start doing some practice problems. Okay, so I am in my workbook. I'm on page 429. So pause me if you need to go and get your workbook and turn to page 429. But if you are ready to go, we're going to get started. So we're going to look at some of the problems on the left side of our pages, and we're going to solve some of the problems on the right side of our pages, okay? But let's take a peek at the left side first. It says you can model problems. A store has some rings. Some rings, not an exact number. Then 34 rings are sold. Sold would be getting rid of, right? Now the store has 47 rings. How many rings did the store have at first? So guess what? If you have a number of rings in a store and you sell some and then you have some left, that means the number at the very beginning is what we are looking for because we know how many they sold and how many they have left. So this is how we would fill out our bar diagram. Our number that we don't know is the total number of rings that they first started with. But we do know that they sold 34 of them and that left them with only 47 rings. Okay. So we need to figure out how many did they start with. And just like our friend down here says, we're actually going to add 47 and 34 together to find the total. And she did the work for us. It was 81. So that means 81 minus our 34 rings that they sold equals 47 rings. Okay. So that was just a quick little practice problem to get us warmed up. Let's look at number 1 here. A store has 52 juice boxes. Then some juice boxes are sold. Remember, that would be subtraction, right? Now the store has 35 juice boxes. How many juice boxes were sold? So we know that they start with 52, they sell some, and now they have 35 left. So let's fill out our bar diagram first. We know they start with 52. And remember, you're filling this out with me, friends. This is your work today. And then they sell some number, but that leaves them with only 35. Okay. I want you to pause my video, see if you can write out the equation that you need to solve, and then solve it and find how many juice boxes we have. So go ahead and pause and do that now. Okay, here's the equation that we want to write. We're going to say 52 to start with minus whatever they sold, which we don't know is how many, is going to leave them with 35 juice boxes. So to solve that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip-flop. So I'm going to do 52 minus 35 instead of minus a question mark because I can't solve that. And that's going to tell me how many they sold. So that's my problem that I'm going to solve. So 2 minus 5, oh, can't do that. I'm going to regroup. Cross off my 5 tens, make it into 4 tens, which means I'm adding 10 ones to my 2 ones, and 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 minus 5 equals 7. And now my 4 tens minus 3 tens leaves me with just 1 10. So they have 17 juice boxes that they sold. So they start with 52, they sell 17 juice boxes, and that leaves them with 35. Let's go look at the bottom half of the page. Okay, over here on the left, it says Trent has 29 more toy cars than Bill. Trent has 72 toy cars. How many toy cars does Bill have? This is a pretty easy problem. We're going to take the number of toy cars that Trent has, which is 72, and we're going to subtract the difference between them, which is 29, because it says that Trent has 29 more cars than Bill. So we're going to do 72 minus 29. Okay. And you can see on here that they said we have to regroup, and I would agree, because we can't take 9 away from 2. So instead of 7 tens, I have 6, and instead of 2 tens or 2 ones, I have 12 ones. 12 minus 9 equals 3, and 6 tens minus 2 tens equals 4 tens. So that means Bill has 29 fewer toy cars than Trent. Bill has 43 toy cars. Let's look at number 2 and solve it. A game has 19 more red cards than blue cards. The game has 43 red cards. How many blue cards does the game have? I want you to try and set this up all by yourself and try and solve it, and then come back to me when you think you found your answer. Okay, let's look at how we should set this up. We know that there are 43 red cards. We also know that there are 19 more red cards than blue cards. So to find the number of blue cards, I'm going to take the total number of red cards, which is 43, and I'm going to subtract the difference that they told us we have between red and blue. So I'm going to do 43 minus 19. I can't take 9 from 3, so I'm going to regroup. 3 10s, 13 1s. I know that 13 minus 9 equals 4. And then 3 10s minus 1 equals 2 10s. So there are only 24 blue cards in this game. Let's turn the page. Okay, we're going to look at the left side of our page first. Lacey buys 28 peaches. Okay, she gives 12 to Ted. If you give something away, you are what? Adding or subtracting? Adding or subtracting? Subtracting, if you give something away. Then she buys 15 more. Is that adding or subtracting? Adding. How many peaches does Lacey have now? So let's start with what she has first. She buys 28 peaches. And we're going to put this in the top because we know that she gives away some. So 28 is the total before she gives away her 12 peaches to Ted. So our first step in this problem is going to be to figure out, after she gives away 12 peaches to Ted, how many does she have? So let's solve that first. 28 minus 12. I'm going to stack mine up. 28 minus 12. 8 minus 2 equals 6. And 2 10s minus 1 is just 1. So she has 16 peaches left after she gives some to Ted. Now I'm going to put this over here because I know that she's going to get some more peaches. And she gets 15 more. She buys 15 more. And I'm going to write my answer down here to step 1. So step 2 of our problem is to figure out, after she gives some to Ted and she buys 15 more, how many does she have at the very end of our problem? So she has 16, she buys 15 more. How many is that in all? In all means we're adding, right? So 16 plus 15. Well, I'm going to stack it up. 16 plus 15. 6 plus 5 equals 11, so 1 and 1 10, and then that's 3 1s or 3 10s, which means in all she has 31 peaches. Okay? 31 peaches. Let's go solve number 3. Craig scores 27 points. Next, he scores 33 points. Then he loses 14 points. How many points does Craig have now? There are 2 steps to this problem. I want you to try and use your bar diagrams and write out the equations just like we did in the problem on the left. Take your time, solve it all, and then come back to me when you think you found your final answer. Okay, the first step in our problem is that he scores 27 points, then he scores 33 more. We need to find out how many in all does he have at that point in the game. So just like my equation down here says, I'm going to take 27 points plus 33 to find my total. So in a bar diagram, that would look like this. 27 plus 33 more would equal our unknown number, the number that we need to solve for, which is his total number of points at that point in the game. So 27 plus 33, I'm going to solve that right over here. Seven plus 3 is 10, 0 in the ones, and regroup my 110 up here. And then I have 2 plus 3 plus 110, and that is 6. So that is 60. So 27 plus 33 would mean 60 points. Now let's go read the rest of the problem. Then he loses 14 points. So I know that if he loses 14 points, 60 is going to be my total in the second half of the problem, the second step. And 14 is going to be how many he loses. And I want to find out how many does he have at the end. So that's going to be the number I have to solve for. Now in an equation, I'm going to do the 60 points that he has minus the 14 that he loses, because when you lose something, you're subtracting it, right? Now I have to solve. So 60 minus 14. Okay, I have 0 ones and I need to take away 4. I got to regroup. So I don't have 6 10s, I have 5. And I don't have any 1s, but I'm adding 10 more. So now I have 10 1s. Okay, so be careful when you have a 0 in your problem. So now 10 minus 4 equals 6, and 5 10s minus 1 equals 4. So he has 46 points at the very end of the game. That is our final answer. Okay, let's go look at the bottom half of our page. Okay, this is going to be just like what we did yesterday. Let's read these thinking habits first. These are some questions that we should ask ourselves when we're solving problems, especially on our test tomorrow. So let's read these questions. How are the numbers in the problem related? So when you read a word problem, think, how are the numbers related to each other? Okay, that's going to help you set up your equations. How can I use a word problem to show what the equation means? This is what we're going to work on, where you take an equation and you think out a word problem to help you solve it. Let's do that with this problem over here. Our equation is 28 plus 35. So I want you to think, what is a number story that you could write with the numbers 28 plus 35? What could you write about that equation? I want you to write it down here, and then I want you to solve it and come back to me when you have your answer and your number story all written out. And then we're going to compare what we did. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going to say Ada writes 28 books. Then Ada wrote 35 more books. She's quite the writer. She likes to just crank out those books. How many books does Ada have? How many books has Ada written in all? That's going to be my problem. And I'm going to solve it right over here. So because we're adding, I'm just going to stack them up and add them together. So 28 plus 35. Let's see, 8 plus 5, well, 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 3 more would be 13. So 3 1s, regroup my 1 10, and then 1 10 plus 2 is 3 10s, plus 3 more would be 6 10s. So Ada has written 63 books in all. Very impressive. Your homework for today is going to be a quick review quiz, and it's going to be on your Google Classroom attached with today's video. And then make sure you go spend some time on MathFacts Pro and get in some practice. If you're in my class, you're going to go on iReady today. And then tomorrow, you're going to be taking your Topic 7 test, and we can put that in the past. And then on Friday, we're going to start up our money and time unit. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. See you on Friday, friends.